and the confirmation of Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson and what that means in terms of representation on our highest court, and the president's right decision as it related to removing the head of Al-Qaeda. So all of that to say there is good work that has been done, but we recognize there is more to do. And so on the topic at hand, these leaders are leading at an extraordinary time for many reasons.
The Georgia Department of Revenue is anticipating delays due to the volume of refunds. According to its website, the department will issue most refunds by early August for returns that were filed by April 18th this year. Now, Massachusetts lawmakers this morning temporarily shelved delivering tax relief to people in the state. It comes after promising just 1 week ago to send stimulus to middle-income Americans. The Senate Ways and Means Chairman announced early this morning that the legislation, which would have provided hundreds of millions of dollars to fund new projects, has failed to move forward again. Yet major components of the bill separately emerged during informal sessions in the coming weeks. The Massachusetts governor and his administration predict taxpayers could expect to see 7% of their income taxes returned. Folks, very exciting news has just been released. Millions of Americans across this country are now currently eligible to receive the fourth stimulus payments. Now, financial experts and economists see a dangerous storm brewing, thanks to a combination of inflation, rising interest rates, and supply chain issues. And while the Federal Reserve is doing what it can to control inflation, its moves could be pushing the country closer to a recession. Tara Sinclair, an economics professor at George Washington University, says many financial analysts are now wondering whether the Fed's existing tools are going to cut it, or if there needs to be some sort of fiscal policy to offset the economic repercussions. And what's clear right now is that American households are struggling and could use some extra support. Experts say relief measures like stimulus checks could be massively helpful. The consumer price index hit a scorching 9% in June, and with interest rates going up as well, Americans are facing sticker shock from oil and oranges to their mortgages and credit card bills. According to Yahoo News, many economists expect the U.S. will slide into a recession sometime this year. The Center on Poverty and Social Policy at Columbia University has seen the monthly poverty rate rise over most of 2022, and while the Bureau of Economic Analysis reported a decrease in GDP for the first 2 quarters of 2022, unemployment rate is still extremely low, sitting at just 3.6%, and retail sales are still growing. Many lawmakers and economists would like to see some extra support for American families. According to data from the U.S. Census Bureau, the last round of stimulus checks mainly went toward covering food, household, and personal care products and rent, mortgage, or utility payments. The Hawaii governor recently signed a tax rebate into law that would roll out $300 checks to residents who earn no less. Individuals who earn more than a set income threshold will receive a one-time $100 relief check, and the state's Department of Taxation said the payments were mailed out beginning of August. Illinois governor estimated about $1 billion, which is known as the relief package known as the Family Relief Plan of Illinois, went into effect the first of last month. The plan includes income and property tax rebates as well as temporary cut in several sales tax. The lieutenant governor has told reporters, amid historic rates of inflation, the people of the state deserve to know that they are not on their own when our residents are feeling the weight of buying food and gas and making ends meet. Illinois acts to ease the burden. So far, the state has already begun rolling out property tax rebates. Homeowners earning less than $250,000 will be eligible for an amount equal to the property tax credit that they qualified for last year. It's up to $300. These payments are being sent automatically. Indiana has been sending out 125 payments to all taxpayers regardless of their income since May. Indiana governor is urging for lawmakers to send a second payment worth $225 per taxpayer. But friends, the calls have received pushback from Senate Republicans who are offering an alternative plan that instead would suspend certain sales tax. Multiple rebates have been approved in New Mexico, while qualifying taxpayers already received the first payment of their $500 rebate in June. The second payment is expected to arrive in August. A new round of stimulus could be on the way for many Americans, everybody. Now, this new bill could guarantee low-income households with monthly stimulus payments. As long as they qualify, eligible people could receive up to $1,200 in extra relief. Now, this is awesome news. And according to the Washington Post, Democratic and Republican lawmakers have held early discussions about a new round of crisis relief stimulus spending. A bill for a guaranteed income program proposed by progressive Democrats in Congress is calling for ongoing $1,200 monthly stimulus checks for adults plus $600 for each child in the household. The program, called the Support Act, which was introduced in the U.S. by Minnesota Democratic Representatives Elon Omar and co-sponsored by Representatives Pamela Jayapal and Cori Bush. Omar said in a news release about this bill, "For too long we have prioritized endless growth while millions of people are homeless, hungry, or without health care. The crisis has laid bare these inequalities, and we have the ability to make sure everyone has their needs met." The legislation would set up a $2.5 billion grant fund that would pay for the pilot program. It would pay $1,200 monthly for adults and $600 monthly for each child in the home. Different communities would be involved in the pilot program for the first 5 years, and then the program would become available to everybody who qualifies. According to the proposed legislation, single filing adults with AGI's income of up to $75,000 and jointly filing adults with incomes of up to $150,000, and those filing as head of household with an income of up to $112,000 would be eligible for the maximum amount monthly. Now, a family of 4 or 2 children being younger than age 18 and a yearly income under $150,000 would be eligible for $3,600 a month. Now, the U.S. job market remained tight last month as employers struggled to find people to hire. The Labor Department said that the United States businesses added 390,000 jobs in May as the unemployment rate held steady at 3.6%. Job gains for March and April were revised, down by a total of 22,000 jobs. The demand for labor has also left employers hoping that older workers who left the workforce early in the crisis will come out of retirement, especially after the recent drop in the stock market put a dent in the 401ks. The number of workers ages 55 and older grew last month by 181,000. The labor force also grew by 330,000 workers last month, not keeping up the pace with hiring. In order to attract scarce workers, employers have been offering more flexible schedules, hourly benefits, and higher wages. Average hourly wages in May were 5.2% higher than a year ago, a slight moderation from the month before. But even those bigger paychecks are not keeping pace with rising prices. The Fed is concerned that rising wages could fuel stubbornly high inflation. At 8.3% in May, inflation is already near a 4-decade high, and the central bank has begun raising interest rates aggressively in an effort to regain control over prices. The Fed has raised the rates by half percentage point in early May, and 2 more similar-sized rate hikes are expected in June and July. The former Treasury Secretary is skeptical the Fed can curb inflation without causing a recession and the higher unemployment that comes with it. He said during an interview this week, "I don't think that there's a durable reduction in inflation without a meaningful reduction in wage growth."
Let me start just by making certain that I tell you something that I think I need to say on behalf of Kansans. I've never seen the level of anxiety, uncertainty, concern for the future as I see today when I have conversations with folks in my neighborhood and across Kansas. There's a sense that something's not right. Inflation is a significant component of that feeling, and the inability to know